Alright, what's up guys? This video I'm basically going to explain to you how to do this Chris Paul edit that you can see on the screen. I chose to use this one as an example to kind of teach people how to do this because I know this edit has a lot of different parts and a lot of beginner things for people to learn. I know when I went through, I taught myself everything on YouTube, and this has some of the basic techniques that I learned at the beginning, and I kind of built upon. So for ado, I'm just going to show you how to do this. So first, you just need to come over, create a new tab. And oh, and by the way, there's multiple variations. Once you learn, I'm going to teach you how to do the Chris Paul version, but I'm also going to include the files for the other ones that you see here for you can practice and use these too. So TJ Warren version, McCollum version, and then an Orlando version. I'm not sure which player that is, to be honest with you. But so first you're just going to go over, you're going to start a new. So I already have it ready to go, but you're going to go File, you're going to go to New, and then for your image size, canvas size. And by the way, in the future, if you ever need to change the size of your canvas, you just go here. You can do canvas size. I always do image size. I don't really know what the difference between the two is, but this is what you're looking for. So you're going to want to do 1153 by 1434 and a resolution of 75. Now, typically, if you want to print something, you're going to want your resolution at least at 300. But I was just doing this graphic for fun. I didn't really care. It was just going to be basically iPhone size and social media, so I just left it at 75. But for future, if you want to print, I would do 300 or higher. So you just use those dimensions and press OK, and then you have your file. And once again, also, if you were going for print, those dimensions don't really fit a print size, but it's just what I used for this. All right. So first, I always go and cut out the player first, or it depends on how many players I'm cutting out, but for this, it's obviously just one before you do anything else. So first, you're just going to go to File, or I'm sorry, Edit. All right, well, it took me a second. I had to cut that. I kind of drew a blank, but I just usually do it, but I'm not used to having to explain it. So you're just going to go to File, Place End, and then you're going to pull up. So I'll attach. It's going to be the Chris Paul edit parts. So you just go there, and I gave you the green one where you can practice cutting out. But I also gave you a cutout one as well. But I would practice with the green one. So there's multiple ways you can cut a player out. Now, since there's a perfect green background, which you won't have often, it's going to be very easy to cut out with this way, and you can't really use this for everyone. But you go over here where it is background eraser tool. So you have it's typically on an eraser, so you just hold down on it and go to background eraser tool. And basically you go over, first you got to click because it's a smart file. So you get it, rasterize the layer, and all you have to do, it's just simple, you just click and drag. That's all you have to do. So that will completely cut the player out. Now obviously with a lot, it won't be that simple. It's because it's the green background, it's that simple. But if you ever have a picture that's contrasted really well, or you have a hard color background, that will work. Or any background where the color doesn't line up perfectly. So for example, if it was a white color as a background, let's go all the way white. Let's say, put that together. If it was a white background and I tried to do this, it's going to erase part of his arm, so that wouldn't work. Go back to where we were. Alrighty, so the second way is you go up here, see where it says Quick Selection Tool. This is a way, and now this will cut something out quickly, but if you want to be accurate, it's probably not the best option just because it kind of gives you a rough kind of cut, and I'll show why in a second, but you literally just click on it and you hold, and it's going to select. And this also works for when there's not too much around it. So it's going to select, you cut your guy, you do it, fills it out, whatever. I'm going very quick right now, but you put more level of effort into it. You do that, and you press Command J on a Mac. I'm not sure what it is not on a Mac. And it cuts them out. So basically it cut them out. So obviously I didn't do a good job, so it missed parts, but it's going to cut them out that way. But if we zoom in here with the zoom tool, it doesn't really give the most accurate cut. So sometimes it's not the best option to use, especially if you're doing something that you need, a real accurate, smooth cut. But it is an option. Back to 70. So then there's another way they just added in Photoshop this year. You go to the same thing, hold down on that, but this time you go to Object Selection Tool. So it's basically the same thing as what you just did, but you just do this, and the computer's going to pick it up for you. And it does it. Command J, cut them out. Which, that's all great and everything, and it worked out easy there because we had a bright green background. But for the most part, I found that it really doesn't work very well. So the last way, well, actually, there's two more ways. There's two more ways you can do this. You can go to levels with. So those are the ways you can, or actually the last way, File. All right, and the last way you can cut out, which is the way I use pretty much, but unless I'm being lazy, this is the way I do it, which is the pen tool, which is right here, pen tool. First one should be the most active one. You shouldn't have to go click on it. So you're going to zoom in, and this one takes the longest to do, but this is what you're going to find most people do. And if you want to cut players out and do player swaps, you're going to want to be precise like this. Click the next location. You're going to drag. Well, that's too far. Click. Let's say we go here. Circles are kind of difficult. Drag, cut it, and then you're going to press Option and click the dot, and then you're going to do it again. Option, click the dot, and of course you want to be accurate. Do it again. Option, click the dot, do it again. And you want to go around his finger, etc. So you get the picture. So you go all the way around, and then you're going to come when you're done. Let's say we just want to cut this part. You press Selection. I do 0. You can do 1. It depends on how. That's basically it's how soft is the edge going to be. But I just want a precise cut, so I usually do 0. Selection, Command J, like last time. It's going to give you your selection of the ball. It's going to give you a perfect, accurate selection. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just place a base image in here that I've already cut out. I don't have to go through the cutout process, just to fast track a little bit. All right, so we have the player. Gonna make sure I got him in the right spot. Let's see, about right there. All right, so once you have your player cut out, I'll go ahead. You're either gonna do a light or dark background. So you can come here, solid color. You can go black if you want to go black, or you can go light. But for this one, for light, instead of using this, oh, and one thing about the dark background, sorry, I made a mistake. So when you go to solid color, usually don't ever do just black. So let me make sure I'm below. Let me do this so I can make sure I'm below them, so you can see what I'm talking about. So when you go in to select your color, don't always do, if you want black, don't do black. Let's go blue. You're going to go down. You'd want like, it's black, but you want a blue as black. So it comes up as black, but you have a little bit of blue in it, and it just kind of makes everything smooth and work a little bit better together. But for this one, for this edit specifically, File, always forget, place M. I use basically, it was a gradient. So it's white, but it's more of a silver that's kind of darker at the top. And just a typical, and you'll see the difference here. I'll do a white real quick, and you'll see what I'm talking about. The difference makes a big difference. That's white. That's the gradient. So you're just going to go in. Once again, you're going to File. You're going to place him. You're going to Insert. And you're going to press Place. All right. So one thing, this player has already been filtered. So I won't have to do it since he's already ready to go. But so once you cut a player out, he's not going to look like this. because this has filters on it. It's going to look kind of like cut out-ish. It's going to look like a regular picture. So if you want it to look, the graphics you can go in. A lot of people, you can do camera raw filter, and if you really understand pictures and lighting and stuff, you can use this. I don't really use this. It's got the detail options and all the stuff, and you can do it. I kind of stay away from it because I don't really know that very well. One thing, the only really reason I use this for is for clarity. If I really want to boost the player's clarity up for some reason, but otherwise I don't use that. I have Topaz Labs plugins. I don't know if you ever heard that, so I have it just basically plugged into the system. This is just a software you have to go download. Topaz Labs. First I go to Denoise. It's going to take a second to load. So I always go to strongest, go from there, even though obviously I'm not going to put it on now because I've already put it on, so it basically blurs it. But all it does is kind of smooth your image out. So if your image is a little bit blurry, this is good. It just kind of smooths the skin out. So when you put in other filters on it, it's not going to look bad, or you'll see as you mess around with it, you try to put a filter on it, and just really it's not one. It's just weird. It's just a weird look, and it doesn't really look very good. So that's important to smooth the player out. And you can see in here, it just looks real. The player looks smooth, and the skin looks smooth, and that's because of the denoise, but also some other things. It's basically making a picture and cleaning up its pixels. So second, you go Topaz Adjust right after you go to denoise, and Topaz Adjust is really great. It's just basically a filter. It's just pre-made filters, pretty much. So a lot of times I'll do Spicify, but I didn't with this player. And like I said, if you did Spicify, it's smooth. So on the screen, you can see that it's a smooth color. If you didn't do the smoothing, it might come up like really weird colors. So that's why smoothing is important. But for this one, I just did Dynamic Pop too. So you click on it and activate it, and you just press apply and then OK. And then after you do that, you go back, Topaz Labs, clean, and this is just more of a smoother out. So you're just smoothing out your image. See, it's real smooth. I go to curly smooth, and I always bring it down to just below 1. So 0, but it's not really 0. And you apply, and then I go to skin collection, and go to skin even, and do the same thing, bring it right down below. And it just smooths everything out. But I've already done it, so I'm not going to do it again. All right, so to get you to the graphic, the part that you really want to know about, let's see. File, you're going to go back to File, Play Simmed. So I already have it. Let's see. So first off, this image right here, I included it if you want to do it. Image 5999, whatever. That image, and you're like, all right, what's so special about that image? Well, I'm going to go File, Play Simmed again. I'm going to find this grunge right here. This image right here came from that image. And I'll be honest with you, I have no clue how I did it. So I just uploaded this images for you that you can use this. But just know it came from that picture somehow. So I'm going to pull this back behind them. And if you don't understand layer panels, it's just the top one's on top, obviously, and it just goes down from there. So bring that image in. Is actually probably about right here. Probably about right there. Let's see if I got the bottom in here. I'm pretty sure I have the bottom already pre-made. Yep, I do. Bottom's pre-made. Put it right there. Line it up. So, just to explain, if you're like, oh, well, I need to know how to make the bottom. Well, all it is I just cut it to get it ready. Is you take this, you're going to duplicate the layer. All right, you're going to go to Edit, Transform, Flip Horizontal. So you flipped it, and you're just mirroring it, and you bring it. Oh, I'm sorry, not flip horizontal. What am I thinking? Edit, free transform, flip vertical. Now you flipped. You have it down there. Same thing. But I just brought it in from another graphic already done. Okay. So one thing you can tell the difference over here. It looks completely different. So how you do that right there, it's real simple. Just going to create a layer over. You're going to go to black. Whoa, way too big. Going to bring it down. It's too small. So you got to make sure this is on top of it, or otherwise it will cover it up. But you're going to finish doing that with the black. Bring your opacity down a little bit. Just basically creating a shadow. So I'm going to go over here, bring this opacity down and add to it. And then I'm going to layer, create clipping mask, which is going to be important in the future. And all that's doing is I just brought this, and I'll go back to show you again, undo. See, it's kind of out here and everything. It's just layer, create clipping mask, and you see over here, just put it inside that. So it's just putting it inside. So now, should have done it at the start. I can go in here and fill in a little bit more, and it makes it look like he's standing on there. So I'm actually going to bring him down. I'm going to bring him down a little bit to make him stand there a little bit better. And then I'm just going to go right around his feet and make it a little darker around the feet area. Let's bring this up a bit. Feet. To make it darker in that area so you can get a little bit more of a shadow around those feet. Okay, so it makes a big difference. All right, next, filling to get this color. So you're looking to get this blue and this back here. All you have to do is go to the grunge. You're going to press new layer, which is the little plus symbol. You're going to do that layer, create clipping mask again. And then you're going to go up here where it says normal. And this gives you, and you'll be able to play around with a bunch of these. But this just inverts the light, changes how it contrasts on what you're doing. So you're going to go to multiply. So that means we're multiplying this top layer on this. And then you're going to pull a color. I'm going to pull blue. All the way up. Take this side of it blue. And I took it all the way over to here. So that side's blue. And the reason why, take it all the way up here, then it covers up when you split. If you did it right down the middle, so like let's say right here, it's going to be weird because you're going to have a mesh where it just comes together. So you always want to make sure you hide it. And you could even put an object there if you want to hide it in the background, but always hide it. So we're going to go, and by the way, when I'm pulling this color, I'm just double clicking it. And then that gives me a little finder, and I can go in here and pull the color off this uniform that I want to use. So I'm going to use that, but I'm going to make it bright because the multiply darkens it. I'm going to go and bring that color in. I'm going to just come in here, make it a little bit more orange. There we go. So we're going to go in, so we're going to go to the bottom one. We're going to do the same exact thing, but this time plus, and it's under your darkness, which is important. We're going to go with the orange, put it there. Now see, there's no multiply on it yet, so multiply, then lets the backup show up a little bit. I'm going to switch back to that blue. Paintbrush. There we go. So you got your colors. And oops, I messed up here. That's supposed to be blue. Okay. Alrighty. Splatter. That's next. So we're going to go back to File, Play Simmed. Your splatter's included. Now I have this, so it fits in perfectly, alright? So obviously it's never going to fit in perfectly like that. So I'm going to turn off the top for a second. So you see one of these, so I'm just going to circle it. This is not something you have to do. I'm just circling it to show you. One of these right here, there's 3 of them here. So technically, it's a splatter, and I just made 3 of it. So if you're doing it yourself, you just have the splatter and you place it where you want to place it. So like I placed one here, I placed one here, placed one here, and then I combined it, and I had it, and I combined and I had it yellow, and that's the colors I wanted. So it's just adding a little bit of effect to it. That's all design part on yours. There's not a certain way to do it. It's just the way you want to do it, whatever you think looks good in design. So I'll show you an example. Obviously, these are pre-cut. That makes your life pretty easy. But first, you're just going to go to splatter, images. Usually, it will come up. So there's so many different types of splatters on here. Ooh, I like that one. I might go save that one. But clicking it, I'm going to copy it in just to paste it. Edit, paste. I'm going to bring it to the front, for example. So all you do is you go and click on that eraser tool I showed you at the beginning, and you just pull the splatter out. Now, this one, there's still a little, if you can see, there's a little bit of white in there. So since it's just a black and white, I would put your tolerance up here, up at 80, and just completely erase it. So you have it erased. You're going to click on it with 2 fingers or whatever brings up this panel on your thing. Select pixels, edit, fill. You're going to go to color, choose your color, which would be yellow. Fills it with yellow. So you turn it off. And by the way, if you click this and click outside, it takes the selection off. And then you'd have a graphic. Not the same as the one that we're using in this graphic, but very similar, and you just do the same thing. So if we were to be using this one, probably make it larger. I'd probably turn it, put it behind them. So let's take the mine off. It would go there, and then you put another one and another one. But this is the one I used. If you want to make this, you just easily upload it in. So I'm getting pretty close, almost done with it already. Last we just need to do the ball. So you're gonna click on it, click on him, go and press the plus sign again, layer, create clipping mask, same thing, multiply, same thing, and then I'm gonna take the yellow from here and make it bigger. I'm just going to color the ball, making the ball more yellow, and I'm going to do his arm as well, make it kind of a goldish color. Actually need more of a yellow. Let's try this right there. There we go. It's a cool effect. Okay, and in some videos I'll show you, sometimes like I'll do the foot where he's like stomping and you can see like the ground breaking, and it's got like smoke going up around his leg. That's what I'll show you in the graphic that we do the horns player. And this is really important because you go in and you basically change his color to what it's going to look like, which makes a really cool effect. So then we're just going to add in file, place in. Do I have it uploaded? Let's see. Okay, I don't have it. I don't have it here. Oh, yeah, I do. Okay, there we go. I'm going to drag. I'm going to go to screen. I'm going to do layer, create clip mask, which brings in my graphic into the ball. And you can place it wherever you want. You make it a little bit bigger if you want to. I can't remember exactly what I did. And you can see how if you wanted to, like, you can keep the graphic on the ball. You can make another one on the ball. And just bring it in if you wanted his arm to have a little bit more of an effect or whatever. Erase this right here. So then you have the whole thing. Even though I don't really like that, but that's the idea. So the ball's there. And then the last thing you have to do that I forgot about, go back to your splash, create new, layer, clipping mask, file, place in. We're going to bring in this yellow texture right here. Place the texture. So You want to go here, and I just brought down the opacity a little bit because I didn't really want that color. I wanted to keep the yellow. So I brought it here, brought down the color burn for it's really bright. It kind of burns, brightens that color, basically is what it is. And there you go. So you're done. That one's done officially. And you're all set. So you faded your first graphic. And this kind of explains a lot of the basics for creating a clipping mask, cutting a player out, and using kind of a splatter and using effects. So really in terms of brushes, I'm not a big brush person, even though I do have them. Come here, click. I have all my brush options, even though I'm lacking some because I accidentally deleted them. But brushes, whatever, they're here. Like I said, file, I like to use pre-made images that can make it look like a brush. So pre-made images like this that can look like brush effects when they're really not. So you just upload them in and create that graphic. All right, on to the next one.